Today we're going to talk about what actually matters in your 30s, because when you're in your 20s you end up chasing things that you think are important, but when you hit your 30s something flips, and if you don't make the right changes you can end up wasting the most vital years of your life. I think your 30s and your 40s are the most important years, so if you've wasted your 20s it doesn't matter, but if you continue to waste your 30s you will look back with regret. Now that I'm 40, I can see what really matters in your 30s. The first thing is improving your physical health. In my 20s, I thought money was the most important thing. But working in the hospital for the last 12 years, I've come to realize, but also understand the importance of health. Because if you're healthy, you can do anything. But if you're sick, you can't go out and earn money. You can't enjoy your life. Therefore, the most important thing to concentrate on in your 30s is making sure that you're healthy and working on your fitness. This is so important, because if you're rich and you have £1,000,000 in the bank but you're sick and you can't spend it, what's the point of that money? There is no use for it. There's a story from the Apple CEO, I can't remember his name. He was a millionaire but he had cancer. Now he would have given up all his fortune just to get rid of that cancer. That's why it's so important you focus on your health in your 30s, because your metabolism slows down, you're more prone to injuries, you're more prone to sickness. That's why it's so important you pay attention to this in your 30s. In my early 30s, I lost my weight. I went out of shape, I didn't look right, and I wasn't physically strong. It's only when I hit 37 that I went down this route of self-improvement and I realized how unhealthy I was. So I spent a good 6 months trying to improve my health and my physique. I paid a personal trainer and my physique changed quite rapidly. It's quite easy to change your physique in your 30s because you still have that high metabolic rate. So getting into good shape or getting into better shape is a lot easier. Now that I'm 40, I realize I started too late. So if you're in your early 30s, I know you want to make money, I know you want to become financially free, and I know you want to improve your life. But if you're unhealthy and you fall sick, you can't enjoy it. So your priority in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s and 60s should be your health. Because if you're healthy, you can do anything. A little personal example from my life. I have an older brother who's 48. He's a project manager and he's doing quite well for himself. But now he wants to work on his own terms. So he's training to be an electrician at the age of 48. But because he's looked after his health in his 20s, 30s and his 40s, he's able to make that change. That's why it's so important you look after your health. Even myself, I went to my nephew's wedding on the weekend and people ask me, how am I 40? How do I have this energy all the time? It's because I train hard in the gym and I watch what I eat. That gives me this excess energy. So make sure you look after your health so you can continue to work as long as possible. The second thing you need to do in your 30s is take more financial risk. When I was 32, I had an opportunity to buy this one property, but I decided not to because I didn't want to put myself under financial pressure. I didn't want to go a period without money. But that was one of the biggest mistakes I made, because if I look at that property now, it's gone up by £100,000 and that property would have earned me £400 a month without doing anything. Now, I'm not saying you should invest in property, but what I am saying is you should take some more risk during your 30s. Now, I invested 10k into crypto and I lost that. Now, if I had done the proper research and didn't rush into it, that £10,000 investment could have gone to £100,000. I'm glad I took that risk, but I also learned from it, because the next time I made investments, I did a lot more research and those investments are paying off. During your 30s is the best time to take risks because you still have time to recover. Don't think you don't have enough time, because you do. That period during 30 to 40 is the perfect time to take as many risks as possible. But just do your research and be calculated. Don't just jump in like I did. Actually look at what opportunities are there. Where can you make money? Is there a real opportunity 10, 15, 20 years from now? If you start laying the foundations and making the right investments in your 30s, it will pay off in your 40s and your 50s. I bought one property 5 years later, and that's giving me money today. But if I had made that earlier investment, I could have potentially had 2, 3, 4, even 5 properties by now. But because I was so scared to take the risk and I didn't want to go through a short period of pain, I missed out on a big opportunity. That's why during your 30s, take as many risks as you can. But don't be stupid, don't jump in, be calculated, do your research and think, okay, in 10 years, where will I be? And if you can think a little bit further ahead, it will pay off. The third thing you need to do in your 30s is make that mindset shift. Changing from a fixed mindset, thinking where your abilities are fixed, to a growth mindset where you believe that you can actually change and learn new things. Once you start believing like this, everything and anything becomes possible. I had a fixed mindset for so long and it held me back. It stopped me from taking action. It stopped me from chasing certain dreams. But once I realized you can learn anything and you can become whoever you want to be, oh my God, it's just made everything so much easier. That's why you need to develop a growth mindset straight away. And if you need help with that, you can book a call with me and we can work together and I can explain why you can actually change the way you believe, the way you think, and what you can achieve. Because once you believe it, it becomes possible. But if you always believe it's not possible, then you will never achieve the things that you want. But once you start believing, okay, I can achieve 10K a month, your mind starts finding ways to make this possible. Not many people know this, but I used to earn over 5K a month working 2 days a week in the hospital. I've shared my little secret with you. And I did so well, but it's only because I believed I could earn that got me to that level. I didn't manifest it, I believed I could earn it. And once I believed it, it became possible. Earning 10K a month online now is so easy because I believe it's possible. And once you believe, you find ways to make it a reality. That's why it's so important you go from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset and start believing anything is possible. If you do that in your 30s, you can change your life. The next thing you need to improve in your 30s is your environment. If your environment is pulling you down, then you need to change it. You can't change your family members, but you can change your friends. And if your friends are not on the same path as you, or they are pulling you down and stopping you from achieving the things that you want, it's time you make new friends. If your environment doesn't allow you to focus on your business, focus on your self-improvement, focus on your health, then you need to change it. Moving away from home to a different town or even to a different country can be really good in your 30s. I've moved out to Southeast Asia and it's been the best decision I've made. It allows me to focus on my work, it allows me to concentrate, it allows me to take action. That's why I changed my location. When I'm back in the UK, there's always something to do, whether it's a family event, taking my parents out, going seeing someone. There's so much to do while I'm back in the UK. It's little tiny jobs that distract you, may make you feel tired the next day. But here in Southeast Asia, where I don't know nobody, I can just get up in the morning, work on my business, go to the gym, come home, shower, go out, have some dinner, rinse and repeat. I just repeat the same thing every day so I can succeed in life. So make sure you look at your environment and see if it's holding you back. If it is, change it. If it isn't and you're in a good environment and you're surrounded by good people, maybe you just need to pick up your game and really focus on your work. But if your environment is not supporting your life or your dreams, change it. I guarantee you do that, it will change your 30s. The fifth thing you want to do in your 30s is learn to not give up. It's very important that you continue to push through when things get difficult. I spent my 20s giving up on everything and my early 30s. It's only when I hit 37 that I realized that giving up was stopping me from achieving the things that I want. And learning to push through when things get difficult will definitely give you the results that you want. That's why it's so important that you learn not to give up and you continue to push yourself every day to achieve the things that you want. As you get older, you will get that feeling like it's too late. Have I missed the boat? Do I still have time to make it? Trust me, turning 40, you still have time. Yes, there are certain things you'll want to do in your 40s and that might just give you that extra push you need. But the most important thing is you can't give up. You've got to learn to push through when things get difficult. When you do this, you will realize anything is possible. But as soon as you give up, you lose the opportunity to change your life. Now, there are multiple things that matter in your 30s, but if you focus on these 5 things over the next 6 months, you can change your life. If you need any help with anything, you can book a call with me and we can work together so we can maximize your 30s. Now, if you want to know how you can speed up your progress, click here.